Alright, so I got the chance to try Cold War again during the Memorial Day weekend, and it is indeed time for another final thoughts, even though the game has 5 more months of life support. You may be asking where my final thoughts are on Modern Warfare 2019, but a few things about that. 1, I'm still playing that game even though it's technically not getting any further support or features, and 2, I have a lot to say about that game, and I have to put my thoughts in a very specific order, and try to recollect everything that happened in that game, from release to now. Going back on topic, Cold War is the next COD title developed by Treyarch. The game features a shallow campaign that promised more than what it was, a zombies mode, and of course standard multiplayer. For the sake of this video and the game, I'm only going to be covering the multiplayer. I don't care for zombies, and if we're being honest, you have to be very incompetent to make a bad wave-based zombie game. The campaign, as much as I would love to talk about it, I'm not going to give it much thought, just like the developers did. Anyways, the multiplayer in Cold War brings back the classic quickscoping that Modern Warfare 2019 correctly nerfed. By that sentence alone, you probably will have a decent idea of where I'm at with the COD franchise. So for clarity, I don't own every COD game, surprisingly enough. I've never played any of the Black Ops games outside of the Cold War free trials. I've never played Modern Warfare 2, 3, or any that followed. It would be easier to list the ones that I did play, at least the ones that featured multiplayer, and that is Advanced Warfare and Modern Warfare 2019. If you're wondering why I didn't buy the others, it's because I simply didn't care. It was the same game year after year with very little changes. Advanced Warfare did include advanced movement, which is why I bought it, and also because I got it on sale. Modern Warfare 2019 brought the game back to its roots, and it was a great return to form. Yes, it's not perfect, I'm not going over that right now. Looking at Cold War, it's another return to form, but not for the better. The community constantly complained about the 3-lane maps from the World War II game, only for them to again reappear in Cold War. What separates Modern Warfare 2019 from Cold War is that Cold War feels like a standard Call of Duty game, but with very little changes that might make it better. But Cold War still falls into the same problem as the previous titles. Fast, quickscoping, granting players easy one-shot kills, ballistic knives, axes, crossbows, shotguns, and so on. You can defend those items all you want. I'm not going to argue that cheesy one-shot kill weapons have no place in proper game balance. What I will say is that there should be more ways to play the game, as in a way to play closer to the CDL rules. Treyarch, Infinity Ward, and any other developer does this every year. It's engraved in the Call of Duty DNA to have items that are blatantly overpowered and makes the game frustrating to play, only for them to be blacklisted every time by the CDL. As I said, you can keep them, just leave them out of my lobbies, which we can't really do because the devs don't care. Any game with multiple modes should allow players to blacklist and fine-tune the modes up to what the community wants, not what sells or what gives an unfair advantage. We can look as far back as Battlefield 4, where DICE or EA outright rejected the idea of blacklisting weapons. If they ever wonder why they can't make a Battlefield game competitive, it's because of this. The community doesn't care for one, and the devs don't encourage a fair fight. Outside of game balance and cookie-cutter map design, we also have world scaling. You can say all you want about Modern Warfare 2019, but you have to agree that the game looks better and is scaled better than Cold War. By scaling, I mean everything in Cold War looks cartoonishly big, and the characters are actually moving faster than their own animations, so it looks like everyone is sliding about. I hope this would be something that the devs would have fixed, but it's the same problem the game had back in the open beta. Because these characters constantly look like they are on ice skates, it makes it infuriating to track their movements. Because the game doesn't give you an animation to tell where they're strafing, left or right, not until after they already moved in that direction. The animations in Modern Warfare 2019 synced up a lot better, and by comparison, you could argue perfectly compared to Cold War. The weapon animations and sounds in Modern Warfare 2019 are the best in the business. The size of the items and the world also looks more realistic and has a grittier approach. Even with the attachments, they make sense, as in there isn't an attachment that would stop you from flinching in real life. In Cold War, they do try to add these extra elements to make the weapons more unique. Modern Warfare 2019 is a lot more grounded, and that's why there's a portion of the COD community that outright hates it. If we're being honest, the community is too large for everyone to enjoy every release. Every game will focus on one gimmick or the other, and there will be a group that will hate those changes. With Cold War, however, you can say what you want about gameplay, but it doesn't look good compared to Modern Warfare 2019. It's a downgrade in almost every way. Gunplay can be subjective, and you may like the more chaotic style that Cold War offers. Modern Warfare 2019 is more than just running a lane, actually using the map and its multiple routes to give you an advantage. There's a lot less map lock, if you will, when playing Modern Warfare than there is in Cold War. Yes, the spawns aren't always great, and some maps are pretty bad. But looking back at the bad maps the game had, they tend to be the more basic ones. Piccadilly, Euphrates Bridge, Arkloff Peak, they don't offer enough choices to break the middle ground. No offense to anyone who likes those maps. In Modern Warfare, it's more than just move forward. Multiple times in Cold War, that's all it felt like. And in the Garrison map, my team literally got pushed out of the entire building, stuck in a respawn hell. And in the Miami map also has been scrutinized plenty of times before. Cold War simply isn't worth your $60. Maybe as a complete package it could be worth $40 or $50, but it just feels like a cheaper product. And cheaper doesn't always mean worse, but in this case I'd say it's worse as well. Once the next game comes out, which is rumored to be World War II again, I'm curious to see how many Cold War players will jump ship. I think it's time that COD allows these games to exist together, rather than one being supported throughout the year. I know it may sound strange for a game to be supported longer than 365 days after release, but do we really need another Modern Warfare sequel? Why not just a $30 or $40 expansion? These games are infamous for constantly using the same game engine, so it couldn't be that difficult to upgrade and support more new content, while not asking for $60 every year. In fact, Warzone proves this by being the bridge between Modern Warfare and Cold War, and Warzone is free to play. So I don't think I'm asking too much by requesting a new release to be sold at a cheaper price and as an expansion rather than a new full-fledged game, at the very least for the multiplayer portion. Unless they do jump game engines or they greatly expand the scope of what COD is known for. But hey, if you want to keep giving Activision money to make this game over and over again, that is your decision. I'll be looking onward to bigger and better things. That's all I have to say about Cold War, so thank you all very much for watching. I am Mr. Rain, and I will see you guys next time.